All right, today we're jumping straight into the world of Arreqqana, and this is a language where, every single word, even the silence between words, is part of this incredible spiritual dance. We're going to see how it's so much more than just communication. It's about connection, it's about strategy, and ultimately, it's about revealing some really profound truths.
So let me ask you something. What if every single conversation you had was a work of art? I mean, a performance with its own rhythm, its own deeper meaning. Sounds kind of wild, right? Well, in the world of Arreqqana, that's not just some philosophical question. It's just how life works.
Okay, check this out. I'm just going to put a number up here. 26. So what's so special about 26? Well, get this. That is the total number of distinct linguistic systems, and we're talking full languages, dialects, special codes, even slangs, that have been completely mastered by just one person. One.
And the person who pulled that off? She's going to be our guide through this whole thing. Her name is Peppiqhilala Tarraqhavvezz. I mean, what a name, right? She is a true linguistic prodigy, and get this, she's also the queen of what they call the House of Divine Arguments. Basically, her skill is our ticket into this world where language is, well, it's everything. So with a system this complex, where do you even start? Well, I think the best place is at the most personal level, the everyday dance of flirtation and friendship. Okay, so right away, we see two totally different social codes. On the one hand, you've got Slanshaal Qhasimat, which literally translates to thread, hint, play. This is the poetic, super strategic language used for matchmaking. Then, on the other side, there's Slanshaal Vvarbanq, shadow banquet laughter. And that's exactly what it sounds like, that playful, ironic banter you have with your closest friends. Totally different vibes for totally different connections.
So here's a perfect example of Qhirratta, that flirtatious code. At first glance, it just sounds like a nice compliment, right? But it's actually a challenge, hidden in plain sight. It's a strategic move in a romantic game. The real meaning, the subtext, is something like, hey, I see you've got something special, but what are you going to do about it? This is literally flirtation as a form of high art.
Now, let's flip it. Compare that super strategic line to this, which comes from Vvarbanq, the language of friendship. This is just a playful, intimate tease. The real meaning isn't in the words themselves, but in all the shared history and inside jokes behind them. It's ironic, it's affectionate, and it just shows a totally different, more relaxed side of their world.
Okay, so we've seen the personal side. Now let's see what happens when this artistry gets dialed up to the formal level. We are entering the high-stakes world of Arreqqana debate. And here, arguments aren't just won with logic. Oh no, they're won with rhythm, with grace. It really is a dance of words. The absolute core of this is a concept called Qhirratta Taqminqhayirra, which translates to rhythmed inquiry snares. Now, the word snares or traps might throw you off. These aren't about destroying an opponent, not at all. They're actually these beautifully complex, rhythmic questions designed to do one thing: reveal a deeper spiritual truth. Or, expose when someone isn't aligned with their own. So, you're probably wondering, how does this even work? Well, it's a three-part thing. First, every question is phrased with this built-in rhythm, almost like a line from a chant or a poem. Second, the real question, the juicy part, is hidden. It's veiled in a metaphor or maybe just a subtle change in intonation. And finally, and this is the key, it's a resonant challenge. The speaker actually uses their vocal emphasis to literally test their opponent's spiritual balance. The idea is, if you're not grounded in your truth, that rhythm will make you stumble. Okay, theory is one thing. Let's see these traps in action. We're going to break down a mock debate between our master, Peppiqhilala, and a challenger named Slanshaal. Let's watch how this dance unfolds. So, Slanshaal kicks things off with a really powerful opening. Listen to the rhythm in it. If freedom is sacred, why must we kneel to spirit? See that cadence? He's setting a trap right from the start, questioning the very core of their spiritual beliefs. This move has a name. It's called the mirror trap, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It's designed to take an opponent's logic and reflect it right back at them, trying to force a contradiction. It's a really clean, direct way to start the dance. But watch how Peppiqhilala handles this. She doesn't fall for it. She doesn't answer the logic with more logic. Instead, she counters with this beautiful, poetic paradox about the wind. She completely sidesteps the trap and just elevates the whole conversation to a much higher, more spiritual plane. And this countermove? It's called the spiral delay trap. By redirecting the whole thing into a metaphor, she completely messes with Soliner's tempo. She forces him to stop and recalibrate. See, she's not just answering his question. She's seizing control of the rhythm of the entire debate.
So Solinar, he has to try and get back on track, right? He tries to regain control. He pivots and brings up a specific historical event, a contradiction. It's a really sharp, pointed question, and it's designed to force her into a corner, to make her give a defensive, purely factual answer.
This next one is called the false invitation trap. It's so clever. It basically invites your opponent to agree with a premise that's secretly flawed. In this case, the hidden premise is that a priestess falling must mean the goddess's leadership is weak. It's a very, very subtle bait. And again, Peppiqihila's response is just masterful. She doesn't defend, she doesn't explain, she completely reframes the entire idea of failure. She says, falling isn't an end, it's just a pause, a breath, a moment of potential. She takes what he presented as a weakness and transforms it into this moment of incredible spiritual power.
The technique she's using here is amazing. It's called the pulse break trap. The sources say she actually inserts a tiny pause, but with an upward intonation, which just snaps the expected rhythm of the debate. By breaking that flow, bam, she seizes total control of the spiritual tempo. All the pressure is right back on him.
Okay, so let's do a super quick recap of the traps we just saw. You had the mirror trap to reflect logic, the spiral delay to mess with tempo, the false invitation, which is that subtle lure into a bad premise, and finally, the pulse break, which shatters the rhythm. Each one is another move, another step in this incredibly complex dance.
All right, so let's zoom out a bit. We've seen all these cool techniques, but what's the big picture here? What's the point of all this? In Arreqqana, the goal is never just to be clever or to win. It's to find something the source material calls resonant truth.
And this quote from the debate instructor just nails it. It really says it all. The goal is to make your argument, your rhythm, feel like your own breath. Natural, essential. Not like some kind of blade you're trying to strike someone with.
And really, that's the heart of it all. That's the main takeaway. In this world, language is so much more than just a tool for sharing information. It's the medium itself. It's how spiritual alignment, inner conflict, and profound truth actually get revealed.
So that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about for ourselves. If your own words, the ones you use every day, had a rhythm, a beat that other people could actually feel, what truth do you think they would reveal about you?